Ayubowan, good morning, good afternoon, good evening. My theme today is challenging ourselves in challenging times. We live in challenging times, and that is the understatement of the decade, especially for the poorest of the poor who are more stressed than any other group due to climate change, burgeoning food security, extreme weather events and resultant social dissent. It was said that the wars of the 21st century will be fought on water, and there are many skirmishers threatening to pop up. I am here to challenge you even further in these truly challenging times, to think about how we can manage these issues from the perspective of gender and poverty. I believe that all of us who are engaged in attending this forum are among the ultra privileged. Privileged because of our socio-economic status, our educational status. A crisis which offers challenges propelling us out of the comfort zone can actually help us, we the privileged, to work towards a solution-oriented stance. This forum and this session in particular will help us refocus on our priorities. Climate-related crises, global events such as the fallout of the Ukraine war will have major impacts for global food security, especially impacting on the poorest. Increased spending on defense by donors will eat into the much needed funding support that we want for the gender and poverty projects and for the gender and poverty related organizations. In spite of all the advocacy efforts ranging back from Beijing in 1985, Dublin Rio in 1992, the quantum and momentum in support for gender and poverty projects, especially for upscaling successful pilot activities, is still very lacking. We work within systems and decision makers who are often unaware or even dismissive of the issues that most concern women and the marginalized groups. Gender equality and inclusion assessment, poverty assessments that should ideally be undertaken at project planning stage are, if at all, an afterthought. Far too often, various government ministries and departments mostly work in silos, an approach which often ends in a blinkered decision making, detrimental to formulating gender sensitive, climate resilient policies which are desperately needed at this during these very challenging times. The community, the poorest, and especially the poor women who are at the bottom of the heap, are the least engaged and the least consulted in activities which are purportedly for their own support. Upscaling activities calling for funds and emergency funding, but that is always a problem for all the people who work on gender and poverty. Citizen science and community capacity building have long been watchwords for me, and I would like to take a moment of reflection on what I see is a personal moment of illumination. Time flies like an arrow, but my mind goes back to my first visit to Japan in preparation for the World Water Forum 3 in Kyoto, where I was privileged to experience homestay with a farmer family in Shiga province. I got to know about the action taken by women, mostly homemakers, not water professionals, in carrying out a successful environmental justice campaign against pollution of Lake Biwa. This movement by local women forced the administration to ban the production and sale of a specific product that caused red tides in Lake Biwa. The replication of this trend in other parts of the country had brought significant impact to the lives of Japanese communities. This is the year of groundwater, and infiltration is a word that is important for us. I would like to challenge the scientific communities, the researchers and the eminent academics who are presenting cutting edge research to pause a while and understand and reflect on how our work filters down to ground level, to the communities, enabling them to overcome the challenges they face every day. Is our work being translated into action on the ground, or will it be gathering dust in digital archives. How does it impact on alleviating social distress? The modes of communication of our work is as important as the message in achieving these objectives. It is even more especially important in Asian communities with very low levels of literacy. So, our research findings and our key messages have to be delivered in a way which suits the context, in a mode which is easily understood by the very persons who need it most, be it politicians, community leaders, ordinary men or women grappling at ground level with these challenges. We the researchers, we the academics need to change our modes of transmission of scientific knowledge. Our storytelling will be remembered long after our PowerPoints are forgotten. Gender and poverty are not cold clinical concepts to be discussed at fora at stratospheric levels such as the Asia Pacific Water Forum, to present papers which are part of professional development and promotion. They are at the very core of our work towards operationalizing the SDGs, fulfilling the mission of Beijing Conference and the 1992 Dublin Rio Principles. They are watchwords which call for long-term engagement with passion and a deep, abiding, transcending commitment to support the communities, the men, the women and the youth in Asia. Water friends, we have only 8 more years left in this decisive decade leading to 2030. A strong advocacy program supporting community engagement resonates very well with what we want to address in supporting gender and poverty related activities and projects. I would welcome you all to use this conference as an opportunity to renew your commitment to promote gender and sensitization and supporting the poorest of the poor in Asia. And here we have this song which should be our mantra. When the beating of your heart echoes the beating of the drums, there is a life about to start when tomorrow comes. My special thanks to the participants, the forum organizations and very specially the session conveners Dr. Lisa Devanek and Dr. Ayukiyu Kawasaki. Thank you very much. Stuti. Arigatou gozaimasu.